part of it.
Yeah. I think the one
The
person
unique selling point.
that really, I mean, I think George and me are definitely more kind of behind the desk creators, but Alex thrived like in a studio.
Fair enough.
And I think he agrees with that as well. Like, I mean, I think he kind of like took a big break from like his main channel because he was like, I enjoy being in like in a studio shoot setting, and he was fucking hilarious. And a lot of those videos like, he carried, and he was like seeing. I think he said he was seeing for the first time comments being like, "Wow, Alex was amazing in this video. Alex carried this," and that was huge for him. And obviously, Will is just like very good in front of camera. I think. But yeah, no, it is what it is. I think it's always difficult to see a project like disappear, but it's cool. The memories are cool.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. It's always interesting when these like the groups form because often it can be natural, but often it can be very unnatural as well. Like, so when you guys start doing your more studio videos, that was because you started Simon Sunday because of the Simon Show, didn't you?
Yeah.
Which is a massive like high production, film almost. TV show every single week, blah blah blah, or day. Whereas that's how you transition to do the more studio videos. Whereas if you guys started before that, you probably would have actually done more death-based videos, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
That's what you guys all do. Even JJ to an extent.
Yeah.
Done a lot of skits before. Most of it's just, I mean, look at him now. It's all reaction based, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, Reddit.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you
had that
fulfill
studio.
that side of like the studio level a bit. You fulfill that doing the Simon videos. There's one that comes out every single week, so it's like, why would you need to then go like, I need to book a studio for this other video?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So it's like if you can just get by doing your own stuff in your own the comfort of your own home, then why not?
Yeah.
I felt like it was like a good time for us, especially when Beta Squad and E-Boys were both doing like a lot. It was one of those things where I felt like all of us were like, okay,
you got
like,
keep going.
we need to step up.
That's cool.
Again,
Honestly,
yeah,
being on the other side of
that's
it,
what I liked. I liked that it felt like all three groups kind of going like, all right, we need to do our own thing now. Gonna make us,
Better.
basically better than the last week. And oh, the video last week was sick. Oh, they've just uploaded this. That's sick. Oh, okay, we need to do a really good video this week.
Yeah.
And it was just making everyone like,
no, in a way, because I think that's why we started doing the studio shoots, because we were like, all of a sudden now we're being compared to these other guys who put a lot of budget into their videos, who go out and do stuff, and I'm like, God, I have to leave the house for the first time in 6 months. This is weird.
Yeah.
And it was like a really. It felt like a lot of growth was happening there, not even just in terms of like numbers. It was like, wow, I'm doing like all of this new stuff, and it was very like an inspiring moment to be kind of seen, especially like you make a group channel. It's like, wow, now you're in the same conversation as like these people that have been around for years. That was like a really cool moment. So it's kind of cool to hear you talk about it as in like noticing the other groups going on as well.
I think it's always the
there's
case.
definitely other groups that I'm forgetting. Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, the thing is like those three groups have connections within them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like obviously, I mean, you guys didn't the Sidemen? Am I right in saying the Sidemen shouted out Will like in a podcast quite early on? I'm thinking like when he first blew up. With
Probably
the BG
it might
Media
have been we did like awards.
Right, yeah.
It might have been,
So I think like even like going back that far, it's like there was always that like little connection. So
I think most things in the UK come from KSI one way or another. Whether it's a direct shout out or massive inspiration. He's just like the KSI.
I think like because obviously I grew up like fairly near. Because obviously I don't think you guys would have been able to drive to my friend's house if we didn't live like fairly near. So when JJ first blew up, that was
we
huge.
were around.
Yeah, so I'm like Aylesbury.
Oh man,
Yeah. So right, yeah, no.
I say Watford because no.
Yeah, no. I think. Did you say what school you went to?
Yeah, I went to Berkeley. It's like
Yeah, I went to grammar school. So I think our schools played rugby together.
probably.
Yeah.
Not me.
No, neither. But no. So when he started doing well, that was like a big talk in our school. So we were on to that kind of stuff like very early on. I didn't even play FIFA until like JJ's videos were blowing up, and then I was like, oh yeah, I need to play Ultimate Team, and it's like, oh yeah, this card is beast.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah, bro,
all of
that's
this,
so
this
sick,
stuff
man.
and shit like that. And
It was a great era.
yeah, no, it was just very different. It's like weird how like when you're kind of making YouTube videos in the UK now, it's just kind of like you look back to the kind of the JJs, also Joe Weller, like when
Yeah.
like coming from commentary as well. like being a British commentator, a lot of people look towards like that Joe Weller type of like early
in-
content, like
internet.
roasting stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking as well. Because even Joe Weller came from JJ. Like he was very talented. I think he always would have done well, but JJ gave him that massive boost.
for sure.
'Cause I remember because he always used to message people, and he messaged me saying, "Oh, look at this video, the How to Be KSI." And I sent it to JJ, and then
Wow.
JJ shared it, and then Joe just went.
We
From,
get it. Joe owes everything to you.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
for
Joe
sure.
Weller. No. But what I'm saying is that's like KSI just tweets a video, and then you're now a
Well,
famous
that used to be
YouTuber.
the thing back in the day,
It
innit?
was,
Like,
yeah.
if I liked a video, it actually did something. Like, now, you like a video, it doesn't
No,
do
there's
anything.
nothing.
No.
Yeah, so I remember, JJ, if JJ liked my video, it'd get like 6K views straight away.
Really?
Just because the way the
So it
algorithm
was
works
shared
in
on
YouTube.
Twitter as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And at that
Oh,
time,
yeah.
Twitter actually meant something.
Yeah.
You tweet out a video, it actually got,
Views,
yeah.
It's crazy, but like, again, it's not like Joe was never gonna do it anything on his own, but it's just that acceleration.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the thing about Joe is he had such a good, like, unique personality
yeah,
for
he
it.
did,
Yeah.
Very gripping.
Mhm.
And I remember, like looking at the way. I mean, even like a video I made last year, I remember using a piece of music that he used on an old video.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is just iconic to me because he did it.
Yeah,
So
His
I-
internet melts was like,
huge.
it was like you've been framed, but
Yeah.
for like something that's like relatable to us.
And
for
our
young
age.
people,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I used to speak to my parents all the time. I was like, "Oh, check this video out." Like Joe's just so funny.
I remember.
Books and water. I used to.
washer machine.
Yeah, I used to like laugh at that so much. I was like, "This is peak humor."
This is incredible.
Yeah, and then now I'm like, it's a bit cringe.
I remember I
But
showed
that's,
my
you know.
dad a KSI video, like when the stuff happened with my friend Harry, and my dad. I distinctly remember my dad saying, "You know what? You could do this. You've got better presence than he does." And I was just like, "Dad, I think you might be wrong. Like, categorically incorrect."
Yeah.
But thanks for the confidence boost. And now and then he hated it. The fact that I started doing YouTube and not doing like
Oh, that's-
regular jobs.
So he's like, "Oh, you should do this,"
Yeah, and then
but not really.
like, thanks for your permission.
Yeah.
And then, like, obviously, when you're not earning money from it, he's like, why is he spending 10 hours a day,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
making a video? But,
But that's where it always comes from. That natural, you wanting to do it for the fun of it is where people most likely fall into these types
Yeah.
of situations, and especially with, like side content, I'm sure that
yeah.
it was natural, like you say. You know, you played.
Yeah,
clubs
it was
and then-
really natural. I remember when we did that that video where we had to, like, the video we did where you got, like, together a bunch of, like, YouTubers around the million mark and got them to kind of choose who gets money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Because
sick.
I remember that finishing and Alex and I speaking to you about the group channel that we were
Yeah, I
going to make
remember
at
that.
the
And you
time.
had 2 names for it.
Yeah, the Tower, and I think it was E-Boys. I think the other one might have been E-Boys back then.
I think there was a third.
I can't remember what it was. I think it was like, at one point,
Sorry,
we,
it was like Simps or something.
no, it was like, yeah, probably. I think we were going to at one point be Alpha Males.
That was it.
Yeah.
There was Alpha Males, but there was a few you were
But then
like
it was
throwing
like-
ideas. And one
yeah.
of them was, I remember Alpha Male sticking as well.
And then, but then it was like Beta Squad, Alpha Males. It's kind of
It
like
was
the ironic
true,
joke
yeah.
doesn't really work when you have another ironic joke that is the level lower.
Because
Yeah.
the Tower, they were all ironic names, weren't they?
Yeah,
And then you had also the Tower.
yeah, which was kind of like, which just feels a bit industrial, doesn't it?
It's also, as soon as one of you comes out, it's like, okay, well,
There's no longer the
are
Tower.
they not in the Tower anymore?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
someone, Randolph just moved in.
Yeah, no, Randall's in the Tower.
Yeah.
Raj joined. Cheers, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
I think E-Boys. I mean, maybe it's like now looking back because it's already established, or
Yeah.
was established that
It
E-Boys
worked.
was the best.
Yeah, it worked.
But-
I
Yeah.
think it really worked because it was like also a term that people were using,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just in general, like in an ironic way. And then also we managed to get the ads for it, so it was
Yeah,
like this will do it.
we
Like,
got it. Yeah.
Kind of
yes.
I haven't seen anyone use the word evil unless you're talking about the group since
Yeah.
you made it.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Same with like
same
Cyberman.
with,
Yeah, it's the same
yeah, and
as
same with like beta. You know,
Beta Squad, yeah,
you're
yeah.
yeah. I don't see that anywhere near as much.
Yeah, especially within the people that do like keep up to date with the YouTube scene. and
Yeah.
young
In
people.
our circles, especially,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And it is weird though. Like because you open yourself up to a completely different audience when you do a group channel because all of a sudden you have every other member of that group, their dedicated fans now know who you are.
Yeah, and
So-
they might not like just because someone's a fan of even just because someone's a fan of like Miniminute doesn't mean they're necessarily a fan of like KSI. Even though you guys are so close, it's like you have different audiences.
And that's why the group channel comments are the most brutal.
yeah, yeah,
That
I know.
is like then
I
these
know.
aren't your subscribers anymore.
yeah, yeah.
get the armies going against each other.
Yes.
I hate it.
Because like I actually have like obviously like Will, George, and Alex have all kind of we've all kind of fed into each other's audiences, I guess, over the years. but like we all have very different audiences. Like Alex and I kind of drift more towards US and female, and then George's and Will's very much drift towards British and male.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously, like when I go on a George video or a Will video, the amount of comments that are like, "I've never laughed at a James Marriott joke," or get this posh twat off my screen and shit like that, it's like, okay.
Yeah, it is crazy knowing that. Oh, wait, we've got a group together. Everyone should like us all equally, but it's just never the case.
No,
And you got to remember as well. I always find this funny, where it's like you still got to remember, even though people are so big fans of you guys individually, someone somewhere will just find one of your videos randomly, and they're now a fan of you. And I'm sure there's still someone who knows KSI or Miniminter or Vic or whoever, but doesn't know Simon. I guarantee someone.
Oh god, yeah.
Someone who just goes on YouTube. Oh, I'll watch Simon today, and just oblivious.
For some reason, I always thought that about my audience. I was like, oh, my audience only care about like LA influencers that I talk about on roast. They don't care what I'm doing on the E-Boys. They don't subscribe to the E-Boys channel. So that was always a really weird one for me when people were like, oh, I'm gonna when the E-Boys ended and I saw comments on my main channel being like, oh, I'm gonna really miss it. It's quite strange. So.
Yeah, it was quite a big thing on because I don't see things on Twitter, but people send like our group chat and stuff. Someone links it, and it was quite like a overwhelming response.
Yeah, no, it
was quite a weird. It was quite a weird way of announcing it, though. I felt like it was surprising you didn't do a video. It was just it was like a.
Oh yeah,
graphic, right?
I think the thing is because we recorded a podcast, and then oh my god, the final podcast recording, it was so bad.
So did you record this podcast after you knew you were going to stop? So before you knew.
Oh my god, the final podcast will never get released, but like it was just an absolute slug. Like usually like our podcasts were about an hour long. I used to go into the podcasts were like one of the highlights of my week. I love, especially when we had a guest. I used to prepare like questions. I prepare like a bit of like research on them. I really enjoyed it. Like I enjoy asking people like detailed questions about their past and themselves. And but when it came to the the Chill podcast, we just had like all the E-Boys PA would just prepare like a list of topics and we just go through them, and it was pretty chill. But on the last recording, there were just so many problems. Like Will was in Newcastle, and he like before we started, we had like quite a tight schedule to get it done. And he didn't quite have enough charge on his camera. So we were like filming this hour-long podcast, stopping it every 15 minutes so that he could go and charge his camera. And we ended up being, and for an hour-long podcast, we ended up spending, I think it was at least 2 hours. And we all got to the end of it. And I just remember being like, oh my God, that is probably the worst recording we've ever done. Because by the end of it, we were all just like, oh, please, God, let this fucking finish. And then I think that very much, that energy very stretched into... Oh, we don't enjoy this. We were like, Will especially was like, I just did not enjoy that at all.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to George after it and going, God, that was horrific, wasn't it? So it was almost like we had, in a way, it's like you have this podcast about the thing ending. Well, not about the thing ending, but before the thing ends. It would feel weird to post that podcast because it's ended and we didn't know it was ended by that point. But it's also weird to now record a different thing. So I think the idea was instead like, let's not deep it. Let's just post the thing saying it's over. And then we said, like, if any of us want to make videos on it, make videos on it. And I think Will made a video on it, and Alex did. And then George made, like, a second channel video talking about, like, some elements of it a few days later. And I was just like, it is what it is.
Yeah. So I guess that was that podcast kind of like spurred on the chat. I guess, or the actual.
Yeah, I think just in general we've been speaking for a while.
Like what's next? Or where do we go from here?
And then I think Will kind of expressed doubts a few weeks before. And then I think it was like a couple of days after we recorded that hellish podcast, he just said like, yeah, let's talk tonight. And then everyone was like, I think Alex and I joined the call first, and we were just both like, we were about to be told off. I was like, so it's over, isn't it? And he was like, yeah, I think it is.
So would you take any aspects of E-Boys for something in the future, do you think? Like, would you do a podcast now that you found out you enjoy it?
I think if I was to do one, it would be like very different. Like it wouldn't be like
You've done podcasts before, right? Like before E-Boys, of course.
But I don't like the thing is, it's like the Campcast was its own unique thing, and I really enjoyed doing it. The E-Boys podcast was its own unique thing, and I really enjoyed doing it. I think if I was to do it now, it would just be specifically maybe like interviewing people.
Right. Yeah.
Like it would be more like I try and get like smaller musicians on and stuff like that. Like I'd want
that
to
you're passionate about. Yeah. You can put all your like work into.
I had the idea of like creating a separate channel for it, which is kind of not attached to me, but kind of like something that I work on, almost like
Yeah.
And kind of doing it like you're laughing because I said before.
No, it wasn't.
Almost like
Yeah, I realized that. I swear I just saw you go.
I wish I did laugh at that because that would have been a good joke again.
Yeah, no,
but I'm not that
could've
smart,
thought
unfortunately.
But I would quite enjoy doing something like that. But when it comes to like group channel stuff now, I can't really imagine doing a group channel.
Narrator off.
Announcing a group channel at this point, it'd be like, oh, here he goes again. Like in the same way that as soon as Will did another one, people were like, well, this is going to go soon because EXO, that got mudded. So
I feel like it's always going to be compared to anything you do as well before. Or people will make assumptions. So say you started one tomorrow.
Yeah.
It would be, oh, is this as good as E-Boys, etc. And also, oh, Will's not in it because you hate him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how have you made this assumption?
Well, that's the thing is like, especially when something ends as well, people always want to assume that there's some huge underlying beef going on because almost that's
always YouTube love that, don't they? They love any.
But it only takes one confident person to make a rumor sound true.
Yeah.
Like they could literally go, oh, they split up because Alex met up with Will's mum and punched her.
Yeah.
And it would be like, oh wow,
that's pretty nasty of him, to
happened?
be fair. Yeah, but we don't
but then
talk
also
about
you don't want to like highlight that, so you don't want to get involved. So if someone just start a rumor and you don't want to attach yourself to that, then it gives it like it makes it valid.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't.
Yeah.
People think that.
I quite like it because it was like all the information about it was put out immediately. Will immediately said like, yeah, I know I'm the one who spurred this. I'm just going to be the one who says like, I'm going to make a video on it and just say where my head was at. And I watched the video back and I was like, yeah, everything in that video is pretty much exactly what he said.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
At least all cards on the table and everyone knows where they're
And
at.
that's what and that was it.
Yeah, that'd have been the worst. He'd said something and then all three of you go,
What?
Hold
well,
on.
that's not.
Yeah.
Imagine he's like, none of the guys wanted to do it. They all hated it.
Yeah,
I tried to
I
keep
imagine.
them together.
But that's
Nightmare, yeah. He sent it to us all before, so it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'll just send it to you. And then I think it did. I think for Will, it was like I remember seeing the views on it, and I was like, oh wow. And then Alex was like, I think I'm gonna make one as well. And then Alex was like, yes, 1 in 10, thanks, Will.
Nice.
So we got some confetti out of it in the end for Will and Alex, which is the most important thing.
There's no way I'd have missed the chance to.
Oh, of course, yeah.
The thing is, though,
Leaving aside, man.
Bro, we split
Black
up,
and
bro. I'm
white.
making that video within a second.
Yeah.
Then on the second channel, then a clip of that on stream.
Yeah.
The thing is like for me, my main channel is so different. Like if I'm not making a main channel video on someone else or like analyzing something or kind of like picking apart something, I feel like I'm not doing. I always felt like it's got to, because like my audience is 30-30, like it's like 30% UK, 30% US. And I was like, the US people, I feel like they don't care about the E-Boys. So it's like if I'm gonna do anything,
Narrator,
I've got to find the middle ground between the two. So it just didn't
off.
really make sense for me, I don't think.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Every time I always want to start new channels for some reason. This is really random, but I really want to start new channels. Like I saw, do you know Nelk?
Yes.
So Steve will do it.
Right.
You know which one he is?
Yeah,
The
I
one
think so.
Drinks a lot.
Yeah.
The one with problems.
He has a channel that Steve will do it gambling, and it's literally him just he plays slots for an hour.
Yeah.
Or
Well, there's been a
blackjack
huge like
for-
place for gambling. I think was it Ludwig that said this, or like another Twitch streamer. I think like there is a huge market for gambling content that many people take advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take advantage of it because I know it is a bad thing to push.
Take advantage.
Like, I
of
do not want to
financially.
sit there and be like, yo, look how much fun I'm having gambling.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, if I want to, say gamble for 20 minutes and put 50 quid in, I'm like, I could really just make this a video.
Yeah.
But I don't want other people to do that because of me.
Right.
Especially
It's a weird mix.
I was playing slots for quite a bit just for fun, and I was like really enjoying it. I was like, it'd be sick to just stream this, but I think there's a lot of like, it's very toxic, the streaming world and gambling, because like the companies pay you. Like
Right.
a lot of the gambling websites that you're on will pay the creator to gamble, or they'll give you fake money. So they'll put like 50 grand into your account, and you see people winning like $1 million off of 50 grand, and it's like, well, it's not real.
Yeah.
And that's the worst. Like, I think gambling can work if you are very straight up and being like, I'm putting £50 in here. There's a chance I'm gonna lose it all. Or I've lost it all. This sucks.
That's the thing. I can't trust you if you're being paid by a company to promote their gambling site.
Yeah. And
This guy won £1,000 on slots. He was advertised. This was an advertisement for the site.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
And
they can't change it. They physically.
No, they can't.
That's illegal if they get better odds.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with someone, a gambling website paying someone to, it's the same thing as everything else. It's just a brand deal, right? But then as a viewer, you're like, well, I don't know where we stand. You know, I don't know. You have to do, you know.
And also, there's just the general promotion, because it's like if people who are the first people who are going to subscribe to any of your channels are your most dedicated followers, and they're like, "Wow, Simon's doing this. I should also do this." When I losing all of your money.
Yeah. And you can't, even if you're someone who's super enough to do that, you can't guarantee that everyone else will.
Yeah.
And even if you're not training from bad, someone's always gonna get into that because of you. You know. So
I've got to say, the amount of money I've shilled on FIFA packs over the years, after having those early videos of like, "Wow, I packed this person," and it's like.
That's the thing. I say I don't want to promote this, but I open packs and post videos.
Yeah,